Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 10 of the Latics Lowdown. If you didn't watch the video on the K's in the midweek, then one, what are you doing? If you like the K's, if you like music, go and watch that video. But if you didn't, you will notice we've got a little bit of a different setup today, a little bit of an improved setup, is what I'm hoping is the general consensus among people. So yeah, let me know what you think, and it can stay if we like it. If not, then I'll get rid of it, I guess, because you guys win in the end every time, don't you? We've had a bit of a hectic day. I've had another one of those weeks where nothing happened, and then I woke up and nothing had still happened, and then it got to about 5 p.m. and Latics decided, yeah, you know what? We like to make your life harder than it needs to be, and so we're gonna just drop news as we do. So Latics have indeed, as per usual, made my life more difficult than it needed to be today. Good evening, Don. How are we all in the chat today? We've got 8 people jumping in from the off. Like I said, we've got a bit of news to get through today. Some good, some bad. We'll start with the bad. Ethan Arahon, and I'm not even asking if that's how you say his name because I don't care anymore. I'm not even going to touch on him for too long, but you know, he's gone to the wrong place, hasn't he? I think we can all agree on that. So yeah, Ethan Arahon, who even is he? Don't care anymore. And that's going to get clipped up when he scores against us, but I don't care. Anyway, what have we had this week? We've had Tranmere away. Now, unfortunately, I can't go as in depth as I did and as I would like last week with the Accrington game when it comes to Tranmere. If you haven't watched last week's episode, I would implore you to go and do so. We went quite deep into the Accrington game on sort of the goals and what we could have done better, what we did really well in terms of an attacking sense in that second half in particular. The relationship between Costello and Asamoah and the wing backs in particular was a big thing there, and the midfield setup as well was crucial, in my opinion, to how we flipped that performance from the first half into the second half. But I wasn't at the Tranmere game, and Latics again making my life difficult by not releasing the highlights or anything from that Tranmere game other than the Ryan Lowe interview, which he spoke about dealing with Tranmere's both long ball pressure and when they were able to play nice bits of football on the floor. It seems as though we dealt with that. Obviously, keeping a clean sheet is always a good way to sort of kickstart the season, I'll say. I mean, I know still pre-season games, but we are into that business end now. We are now our next game, or the next time we watch Latics will be in a competitive fixture. And wow, have we waited long enough to say that over the summer. But yeah, unfortunately, it didn't go to the Tranmere games. We can't do as much of an in-depth analysis as I would like on that for you today. But a 1-0 win, a clean sheet, all good things to see. Now, oh, thanks, Brandon. I genuinely don't think we were in for him. We wouldn't spend that much money on a player. How do I play coy here? I get that. I understand the consensus of the idea that we wouldn't have been in for Ethan Arahon. Because it was a lot of money that was sort of being bandied about. Now, it's not as much money as I thought it was. Originally, I thought we were talking like over £1 million, in which case I would absolutely be with you. But it seems as though Bolton snapped him up for 750 grand in the end. Now, I believe, based off what I've read, I think Ethan Arahon was moved for quite significantly by us. And look, I'd love to sit here and say it wasn't, and we never wanted him, and it was just paper talk, and Bolton got him. I do think we wanted him. I do think we nearly had him, if I'm being honest with you. And I think Bolton just beat us to the punch, which it happens sometimes. At the end of the day, they are a big club. We've got to give them that. So, and they did have money to spend after George Thomason went to Wrexham, and they needed a midfielder. And so, what do you do really? You go and spend big money on the best midfielder in the division that you're trying to get out of. So it makes sense. There was a hole there for him to go and fill in that side as well, which I'm sure he would have been enticed by. But like I said, I'm not going to touch on him too much because he doesn't deserve the airtime anymore. He doesn't. But I do believe that we would have been in for him. Now, last bit of bad news for the day, and that is that Kai Payne has suffered a bit of an injury setback. Now, Kai is a player that has had his injury problems throughout since he's become sort of a senior member of our squad. If you remember, he had a bit of a problem when he went out to Oldham in the National League for the first time. We've sent him back to Oldham, and it seems as though that's sort of cropped up again. I'm unsure if it's the same injury, but unfortunately, there was a report by Kendrick. Oldham have reported as well. It's not too bad. Not too bad of a setback. It is one that will put him out until about September time, which, it's not ideal. Obviously, the season is long, and he'll get time to come back into that. But it really just disrupts the flow, doesn't it, of a pre-season for a player, for the club as well. And a bit of a blow for Kai Payne there. Obviously, speedy recovery from everyone here, and I'm sure everyone at Oldham will want the same. And we all want him to get on that pitch because we do know what quality that he does have. Kai Payne is a brilliant player. I mean, we've all been raving this pre-season about Leo Graham, about Tobias Brennan. But to think that Kai Payne can come back into this squad at the end of that loan spell as well is beautiful, to be honest, because he is a really elegant player. A bit like Matt Smith, I would say, but I was going to say not as injury prone or as brittle. But I mean, unfortunately, it seems as though that could be the case in the early stages of his career, at least. But yeah, Kai Payne, injury setback until September, speedy recovery, and hopefully he goes on to have a really good season in League Two, as I'm sure a lot of us will think that we've watched Kai Payne. We know he can go and do that. Anyway, moving on, we've got a little bit of goalkeeper news, which I've got to say, I don't fully understand. Now, we'll kick things off with a potential incoming. Gabriel Breeze. Okay. Gabriel Breeze, firstly, brilliant goalkeeper. Don't look into the fact that Carlisle were relegated from League Two last year. Obviously, it's not a good thing, but don't look into that as an indictment on Gabriel Breeze as a goalkeeper. Breeze is brilliant. He's a great shot stopper. Concerns have been raised over his distribution, which is totally fair. But I mean, we watched him in that cup game against us, and he was outrageous. And he continued to be outrageous in League Two, to be honest with you. He's a really good young goalkeeper, just 21 years old. I'm unsure. Maybe someone can help me out here on injury-wise. Tom Watson seemingly hasn't been involved in everything in pre-season as much as I thought that he would be. Obviously, we saw him return in Spain. It was the first time that we'd seen him back this season. So Watto is in and around the squad. But, I mean, if we were to bring in Gabriel Breeze and maybe loan out Tom Watson and have a number 1 and 2 of Sam Tickle and Gabriel Breeze, that is rude, to be honest with you. That is rude in League One. Obviously, there were people when this news dropped about Breeze, and to be honest, it came out maybe a day before that Michael Cooper has had a £15 million price tag put on him by Sheffield United, and that Sam Tickle is on a list of replacements for Cooper should he leave. Now, thankfully, we have had that sort of dampened by Paul Kendrick, is what I normally call it. And that is because an article came out just before I went live here, about an hour before, that Ryan Lowe doesn't seem to think that we need the money for Sam Tickle, and that should he be let go, it would have to take a big fee, basically. Which is brilliant. Obviously, we all love Sam, best goalkeeper in the league by some distance. To be honest, the fact that we've kept hold of him for another year, it seems, touch wood, because you never know what can happen. If someone does come in with big money, then you've got to let him go at the end of the day, because it can revitalise a squad. But if we do keep hold of Sam Tickle for another year, that is 2 signings in itself, to be honest with you, because if you'd have told me at the end of last year that we'd be going into a week until the kickoff of the season and we still have Sam Tickle in between our goals, I would have laughed at you, to be honest. I didn't see it happening. But alas, it seems as though Tickle is going to be there in between the sticks for that first game of the season, which is brilliant stuff. And Gabriel Breeze could even be on the bench for him. But you never know. We'll keep an eye on that. I'll bring you updates as we go. But yeah, final bit of news for the day, final bit of housekeeping. Now, again, they have a knack, Wigan, for just ruining my day and making it in the same sentence, because obviously this went live at 2 p.m. So I have had a while to sit on it and think about it. But obviously, on the day they decided that 2 signings could be coming through the door when they've done nothing for 25 days in terms of signings. So, of course, they left it until the Wednesday that Latics Lowdown was airing. But Alan Nixon comes in here saying that we are close to a midfielder on loan and possibly another. Details when possible. Now, I've been having some Twitter conversations with Matt as well. There was rumours swirling around that it could be George Abbott, with him just signing a new contract at Tottenham. That has apparently been killed dead by Nixon, that it isn't George Abbott, which is a shame because me and Gabriel Sutton spoke about Abbott a couple of weeks ago now, and he's a great player, brilliant player, but it looks as though he's not coming to us, which is a shame, like I said, but we move on. It'll be interesting to see who that is. I've seen people saying Oliver Cooper. I mean, for me, Oliver Cooper would be more of a permanent signing, and from what I'm hearing or from what I'm gathering from within the club, I'm not claiming to be some sort of oracle, but from what I'm gathering, we're interested more in like an 8 and a 6 type player, more like a Babaradico, Tyrese Francois type player, more so than a creative spark. Now that signing for me was Callum Wright, and Ronan Darcy is still knocking about here. So for me, it will be a 6 or like a more defensive box to box 8. So it'll be interesting to see who we bring in, especially on loan. You'd imagine chances are there it'll be a younger player. So the natural physique may not come as easy, but then you never know. You could, I mean, we picked up, was it Glenn Ree from Luton on loan? So like you can always pick up somebody that is on the higher end of the age bracket. But I would imagine it'll be a young player, which is both exciting and raises some question marks. Obviously, over our last summer window, you've got to ask questions of what happened with some of the young players there. Matt's very happy that he's been mentioned, bless him. But yeah, George Abbott not going to come to Latics, but apparently it looks as though we are close to signing the midfielder on loan. I've also seen swirls going around today. Swirls, yeah, we're going with it. Going around today that it could even be announced tonight. So if we're lucky, we may get our first ever mid Latics live, Latics Lowdown signing. And if so, you'll all be here to enjoy it with me, and we'll. I'll see if I can get like the teasers on the screen and everything, and we'll all have a party. Brandon comes in here. I have seen this knocking about. Hope it's not Ballagheezy if you've seen the rumours. I have. Now, admittedly, I don't know where these rumours have come from. Seemingly to me, it came from one person making a joke on Twitter that it was Ballagheezy, and everyone just ran with it for some reason. I'm not sure if someone will like counter argue me there and say it actually came from a reputable source, but I don't believe that it did. I think it literally just came from someone making a joke. Again, you might be able to correct me there, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So I can't see it being Ballagheezy at all. I mean, it was just, I think last week that we were sat here talking about Ryan Lowe complaining that our midfielders were made of breadsticks. To go and bring in James Ballagheezy off the back of that would be an interesting move to go and make. Personally, I don't foresee that one personally, but you know we'll see. Now, that is about it for the news today. But obviously, we have got the big one coming up within the next week, and that is the first game of the season, lads. We've seen pre-season. We're done with it. It's in the rear view mirror. But we're looking forwards, and I'm buzzing for this season. I've got to be honest. I think we've got a real shot here of doing something decent. I mean, I can't foresee it being anything like last season. I think it is only upwards. So I'm very excited for this upcoming season. Now, I have got here for us to go through today 2 starting 11s, one of which is what I believe Ryan Lowe will pick to start that first game of the season. And one of them is what I would do to start the first game of the season. Now, I'm not saying I'm smarter than Ryan Lowe before somebody says that, but there are differs in there for me. And I'm picking up on habits that he's gone with through pre-season. I'm picking up on certain like members of the squad in certain positions that seem to be a bit more nailed down than others. I'm including injuries, everything within that. Now, obviously, if what Alan Nixon is saying today turns out to be true and we sign a midfielder on loan and we potentially even bring in a player on a permanent, this could very well change within the next 24 hours. But going off of what we've got now, as of the minute I'm speaking to you, I've got a Ryan Lowe predicted 11 and my personal 11. So I will take us through Ryan Lowe's first, and then I'll go through mine. Get your predictions in the chat if you want for what you think I would change. Tell me what you think you would change from Ryan Lowe, what I believe Ryan Lowe will go with. Matt's already in here with his 11. I'll go through that in a moment. But yeah, get in what you would change. Get in if you think I'm wrong and you think Ryan Lowe's going to go with something else, let me know. Yeah, Matt's already got his Ryan Lowe 11 in. So we'll stick this on the big screen. I'll stick myself. Where should I put myself here? Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so this is what I believe Ryan Lowe is going to go with on that first game of the season. Now, we'll bring Matt's up here to have a little bit of a comparison. So Matt believes Tickle, yep. Carragher, we're in agreement. Kerr, we're in agreement. Cess, it's a good point. See, Robinson, I've gone with the idea that he might not be injured, but he's not picked up many preseason minutes. You're probably right on the Cess one. Yeah, I'm willing to concede that. Smith, I don't think will start. I'm assuming you're on about Matt Smith. We are Francois, right? Oh no, you're on about Johnny Smith. Yeah, you are. Johnny Smith, yeah. We are Francois, right? I can see, but obviously, right. As far as I'm aware, did Wright play against Tranmere? See, this is the problem, right? Is that I didn't go to the Tranmere game and they didn't really post much about it, and I was kind of busy while the 90 minutes were actually being played. I have no idea. Did Callum Wright play against Tranmere? Can someone let me know that? Murray, yep. Sadie and Mullin. Okay. I'm hoping he's learnt from that Accrington game, is my hope, and that he's going to partner one of Mullin and Sadie with one of Asamoah and Costello, is my only thing I'd say about that. But Wright didn't, but Lowe's confident to have him back. And then Aaron. Hang on, wait. Brandon, hold up. I'll get back to Aaron in a minute. Brandon, you both wouldn't start Hungbo. This is currently what I believe Ryan Lowe will do. In a moment, I will take you through what I would do. This is based off of like habits and preseason and what Ryan Lowe has seemingly been doing so far. This is what I think we'll go with. In a moment, I'll take you through what I would do. And like I said, there are a couple of changes. Is all I'll say. Hungbo is one of them. Spoiler alert. Aaron, cheers. Costello and Asamoah played at Bury yesterday. Mullin and Sadie did not. Maybe resting two. He wants to play or giving time to the two he wants to play. Yeah, I mean, you can flip that either way. Yeah. I mean, personally, based off the Accrington game, so I would go. I'm of the belief, personally, that when you are starting Mullin or Sadie, it needs to be alongside Costello or Asamoah. Because I feel like Mullin and Sadie needed the legs with them, whereas you can start Asamoah with Costello, and I think you're fine doing that. But also, this is a good point from Matt. So, Aaron, you may have tripped up here, pal, because Matt told me this earlier. So, interestingly enough, if you go through the team sheet from Bury, the strike partnership for Wigan was in fact Sean Costello, 17-year-old brother of Dara Costello. And I'm not going to try and say Melissa's brother's name, but it's a different Asamoah that just so happens to also be Melissa's brother. So it was a strike partnership of Asamoah and Costello, but it was their younger brothers that are trialing for the academy, which I found really funny when Matt sent me before. Part of me believed that it may have been an error on the team sheet and that it was actually Melissa and Dara, But apparently not. Apparently it is genuinely the younger brothers of the two that were playing against Bury in that game, which I mean makes more sense. Obviously, it was a bit more of a low key preseason friendly. Yeah, Aaron, I was kind of with you at first. Like I was of the belief it was a mess up on the team sheet because I believe they even spelt Melissa's brother's name wrong. Um, but yeah, it was a weird one. Can't see Robinson playing this season. Still confused why we give him a new contract. I think in this position here, you can't see my cursor. Never mind. Where I've got Robinson here in that left centre back position, I think that is going to be his position. He isn't a left wing back, I don't believe. I don't think he'll make it there, especially with Kamani Miller. Uh, but I do think that left-sided centre back position there is potential there for him to kick on, especially with like Williamson hitting like 32, I believe now. So there's the position is up for grabs basically. And with Aimson being suspended for the first 3 games of the season, if he is fit and ready to go, Robinson, then that's 3 games there that he could start very easily. But yeah, there is potential there for Robinson for me to go and to take that position. But yeah, Ryan Lowe's 11. So this is what I think he'll do. I think we'll see. You are probably right. I can see Sessegnon coming in on that left-hand side of defence. The midfield three, I think, will go purely based off of what we've seen in pre-season. I think we will go with a more senior midfield three of Francois Weir and Mellish, as much as a lot of us, I'm sure, want to see Leo Graham and Tobias Brennan. I think there's a chance that they could make the benches. But for me, I think we will go for that senior midfield three of Mellish on that left-hand side with the left foot and Weir and Francois. Johnny Smith on the right. Now, I hate bringing it up every week, and I don't want to nail him to the cross here. But I just hope that we've learned that this Johnny Smith at right wing back thing just isn't it. Again, wasn't at Tranmere, so it could have worked, and I wouldn't know. But it's just not for me. But I think we will go with it in the first game of the season. Fraser Murray on the left. What a revelation he's been, by the way. Like, he is great. When we first signed him and when we'd started signing others, I was of the firm belief that Fraser Murray was our best signing, and I stick to it. I can see him winning Player of the Season. He's a great player. He's an absolutely class act of a player. I'm a big fan of Fraser Murray. The pain in your face saying Johnny Smith on the right. It's just, I hate saying it because, like, last season, when I say Johnny Smith on the right, it's the first name on the team sheet, but it's just a different formation. Like, I love him to bits. And if he was playing right striker, then I'd be more up for it. But at right wing back, I mean, yeah. And I'm not saying he hates a tackle, but like, he's not up for it as much as, or like not as switched on and not as used to it. Like, it's not his fault. All of this is not Johnny Smith's fault, and I hate to feel like I'm digging him out every week because it isn't his fault. Like, he just isn't a right wing back, and I'm sure he probably knows that. But he's just getting played there at the minute, and it's fine, I guess. It's not, but it's gonna have to be at least until we get one in. But we'll go through my 11 in a minute and what I'd do alternatively. But Costello and Mullin, I don't know why. Off of pre-season, I've got this feeling that he has quite a fancy in for Mullin. And to be honest, with attacking wing backs there, and Costello and Mullin sniffing around that box, there is serious potential there for goals. I'm a fan of that front too. Obviously, we'll go through what I'd do in a moment. But I don't hate the Costello-Mullin partnership, and I think that's what we'll go with for the first game of the season. Now, we'll move on to what I would personally do. Now, I have a feeling I've made a mistake here. No, I haven't. Okay, brilliant. I thought I'd left Mullin in, but I haven't. This is what I would do. So, Sam Tickle in goal, Jason Kerr, James Carragher, Luke Robinson if he's fit. Again, I don't mind the Sessegnon shout if Robinson isn't fit. Francois, Mellish, Weir, again, basing it off of what we have, basing it off of the fact that Callum Wright hasn't played yet, and and basing it off of the fact that we haven't yet signed this lone midfielder, and even if we did, he's not going to have played for us before. It's going to be a bit of a rush to get him into that starting 11. I would go for that midfield three. Again, I know people are going to like the idea of Brennan and Graham being thrusted in. Not for me. I don't know. I just think it's quite early. Like Don, I don't hate it at all. Like Sessing for Robinson, yeah, I can accept that's fine. It's probably for the best, to be honest. To be honest, I completely overlooked Sessegnon because transfer request in my head he was just gone still, even though he's played. But yeah, Leo Graham over Weir. Again, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I'm just like I'm protective over these young lads and not like throwing them in the deep end too early. But like, if you are good enough, you are old enough, and they are showing in pre-season that they can compete with teams like Accrington, teams like Tranmere. I know Leo Graham, didn't he score against Bury? Didn't he play in that game? Which is another indicator that maybe he won't play in that first game of the season. But oh, hello. Thank you very much, boys. See, obviously I can't be doing two things at once, but I was aware that Ryan Lowe was active on BBC as we speak. Ryan Lowe confirmed on BBC right now that we're close to two signings. Expects one this week and one early next week. Happy days, right? That's lovely. Again, is that going to be too early to be put into the starting 11 for the first game of the season? Probably. But brilliant. We are still a couple short in my opinion. I think at the back, in terms of centre back, we are short, and wing back we're still short, and he wants another midfielder, so 2 or 3 short in my opinion. But yeah, happy days. Ryan Lowe confirming. There you go. We're not going to get it during the live. We can have a bit of a. I wish I had a party popper. I don't. But there you go. 2 signings looking like we're close to. That's brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Cheers, boys. But yeah, this is what I'd go with. Hungbo on that left-hand side. Murray, I'd move over to the right because I just think having a right footer on the right and a left footer on the left, I think at Accrington that really showed like the difference that it can make. So yeah, I would personally opt for that. Costello and Sadie up front. I think it worked brilliant at Charlie. Costello has to start. I mean, come on, he's on fire. Again, it's pre-season, it's lower division sides, but like when you start in that kind of way, he's on a crest of a wave at the moment, is what I'd say. And so he has to start that first game of the season for me. Am I going loopy? Because I've been avoiding saying it because I feel like I could be wrong here. The first game is Northampton, right? Have I lost my head? I've been sat here avoiding saying it, but I'm just going to say it. And if I humiliate myself, I humiliate myself. Is it Northampton at home? It is, isn't it? Or is Northampton the first away game? Am I going mad? Yes, Northampton. Thank you. Okay, I thought I had it, but I didn't want to say it. Yeah, Darryl Costello, obviously Northampton, his former side. So if he can get his first competitive league goal against a team that he used to play for on the crest of sort of his really successful pre-season, I'm really excited for Costello. I will be putting a bet on for him to be top scorer because it's 40-1. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Latics F4, thank you very much. What do you see for Asamoah this season? The player I want to do the best. I foresee. What do I see for Asamoah this season? What are we talking here? Are we talking in terms of goals numbers, or are we just talking like a general blanket statement? What do I see for him? I'll answer both. In terms of general overall predictions for Asamoah's season, I think he'll start the season as an impact sub. I think he'll probably have a period around Christmas where he breaks into the team and probably has like a purple patch. And like Matt says here, I think this is around for 10 goals super sub. I can see him being a super sub towards the beginning of the season. I can see him picking up minutes due to injuries. I've got like a weird Stephen Humphries vibe around Melissa Samoa in terms of like a Christmas purple patch where he starts a load of games and gets a load of goals, maybe scores against Bolton away, and like that propels him into the limelight a little bit. Um, but yeah, I really like Melissa Samoa. He just brings that like absolute superpower in the lower divisions in that pace. The goal against, was it Rotherham, where he just sneaks in front of the defender and makes it round the goalkeeper. It like that sort of thing will terrify defenses. And that run against Wrexham obviously towards the back end of last season, where he knocks it round the defender and just runs the length of the pitch and absolutely leaves the man for dead. Like I think he starts 2 yards behind him and he ends 10 in front of him. Like it's outrageous pace. Um, he's a scary player. I think something you can't underestimate, especially in the lower divisions for me, is the ability to like make your opponent think. Um, so Melise for me, if you have him next to a Sadie, Costello, or Mullin, you've always got that thing in the back of a defender's head where it's like, look, we're going to have to play 5-6 yards deeper here, potentially even further, because if this like gets round us, we won't catch him. Like there is no defender in the league. Let's get this right. There is not a single defender in this league that will catch Melisa Samoa if he gets round them. There is not one. And so you've always got that thing as long as Melise is on the pitch. I said this for the Bolton game, and it turned out obviously we lost in the last minute, but for the whole game, I did see it. When you've got him on the pitch, the defense can never settle. The opposition defense cannot settle because you know at any point we could just go long. And if the defender misses a header or Mullin wins it or whatever, you let that ball bounce wrong where you shouldn't, which can happen in these divisions, you are goosed because he will munch that ground and get one-on-one with that goalkeeper. Now, oh, right, okay. Sorry, I was getting confused there. Yeah. If, like I said, if he's on the pitch, he's dangerous. He's scary. And when you pair him next to a natural finisher, like Costello, like Mullin, then it's dangerous. The one thing that you would need to coach into him, which I assume has been done a lot over the summer, and we spoke about in the end of last season with obviously Ryan Lowe was speaking about it. Coaching him to be able to finish better, coaching him to be in better goal scoring positions. Obviously, he came in as a winger technically, and so you need to convert him into that centre forward that can play in a two. But I think we saw at Accrington away in that second half. He has really developed his positioning. I mean, he scored 2 goals that were both penalty box sniffed it out, which is brilliant. That's what you want to see from him. If he can get that down, and he's got that pace in behind, dangerous player. So yeah, to long-windedly answer your question, I see him being a super sub at the start of the season, probably picking up minutes over Christmas periods where like it gets really busy, and I see him getting around the 10 to 15 goal mark if he has a good season. Which, as you've rightly said here, mate, 10 goals super sub would almost be our top scorer for the last 3 seasons. So yeah, I mean, Dara's winning that golden boot, and Melise will be second if we're lucky. So yeah. Matt, my student loan on Costello top scorer. Yep. Yeah, no, I don't hate it. At 40 to 1, the rate that he's firing at in pre-season, I don't hate it at all. But yeah, I'm really excited for this new season. I imagine a lot of you are feeling the same. Like I said, this is my predicted lineup. Well, this is my personal what I would go with against Northampton. I just feel like Sadie dropping in is brilliant and getting those balls out wide into those channels for Hungbo and Murray, with Costello then leading the charge into the box is a really potentially scary front four, really, if we're honest, because as much as they are wing backs and they do have a responsibility to get back and defend, they are naturally wingers. Now they're not naturally wingers in the same way that Johnny Smith is, but they are naturally wingers, and it's exciting. Obviously, a lot of Fraser Murray's creativity came from that left-hand side last season, but I believe that he can translate well over to that right-hand side. I mean, we've seen it in patches, but I think to get Joe Hungbo on that left-hand side, because also Hungbo is like something that we've not really talked about, because he hasn't really been a key player of the squad, and obviously we only signed him in January. How athletic is Joe Hungbo? He's so big and stocky. Like, there's not many people who'll beat him in a shoulder to shoulder, and he's quick though. Like, it doesn't diminish his pace. I really like Joe Hungbo. Something that I really like from him as well is So your wing backs, I wish I could draw on this, but I can't. Your wing backs, obviously, you like up, down is like your main thought when it comes to this. But I saw it at Atkinson a couple of times, and I was really happy with it. Originally, I liked the idea of them holding the width, which I'm sure for most of the game they will do. But I saw it at Atkinson a couple of times. Hungbo would like surge in from that left hand side in field into like an attacking 10 position and then play the ball over to that right wing. And then suddenly you've got like an overload in the central areas of the box, which is brilliant. Like, it is great. And Hungbo does that really effectively. And I think he did it last season from the wing, to be honest, coming inside. Like, I think he's a great player, Hungbo, and he hasn't really been utilised to his maximum potential, in my opinion. And I think he's a really exciting sort of asset to have for a squad, especially on that left-hand side. But yeah, that is going to pretty much do us for today, unless anybody's got any further questions in the chat or anything they would like to bring up. I'll give it a minute for anyone to get anything that they might be thinking or want to bring up into the chat. But yeah, thank you for the support of this preseason. Obviously, this has been our first preseason together. I'm really happy with how this has come to be. I didn't expect to have sort of this community space so early, like before a ball's even been kicked in the season. And so thank you, because that, at the end of the day, that is down to you lot. I can sit here and waffle into this microphone, but ultimately I could have been waffling to nobody. But you know, there's a fair few of you that like to jump in here every week, which I'm really happy that you decide. I mean, Ryan Lowe is currently live on BBC, and yet 9 people have decided to sack that off and tune into me instead. Which you know, to have one person even do that is like, wow. I'm really happy about it. 10 people now, brilliant. Would you ever consider vlogging any games? So peek behind the curtain. No, would be my honest answer, purely because for the upcoming season, I'm not going to be at the majority of games due to like university and like other commitments, unfortunately, that have like cropped up, that are like career opportunities that I have to take. I don't doubt I'll put these on Twitter, by the way, like when it's all done and sealed. But I've got a couple of things in the pipeline that I sort of, unfortunately, mean I have to miss Latics, which is frustrating because it seems as though we are about to go on a really exciting season. You know, it would be lovely if these opportunities would have presented themselves last year, and I could have just missed watching, I don't know, Silko Thomas smash crosses into Joe Hugel. So it's a bit of a shame that it is going to be this season that I have to miss a lot of. But that also means there's opportunities for you guys to really help me out. Like when it comes to reviewing matches and stuff, like I am going to be limited when it comes to like highlights, and whenever they release a full 90, believe me, I will be watching it. But they don't seem to do that for every game, so I'm going to be having to lean on a lot of knowledge from you lot, which is brilliant, because at the end of the day, as much as I sit here behind the microphone and waffle, this is our thing. This isn't a me thing. This is our thing. So, you know, having you guys here every week to help drive this chat and be bringing up all of this is great. Best be this Saturday. I'm not. See, this is the thing. This is the issue. I'm missing the first game of the season. This is my problem. Like, it is annoying, but you know, some things you've got to sacrifice sometimes to eventually get to where you want to be. Here we go. Low now on about Tickle. He knows he's definitely going to be here for another year. And that is going to be the note that I will end on, because that is a nice note to end on. Thank you, everybody, for watching this week's episode. We'll be back again, hopefully, next week. Hopefully, with a signing by the sounds of things over on BBC. I'll let you go and I'll let you tune into Ryan Lowe instead of this numpty in a cap. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you this time next week on the Latics Lowdown. Thank you so much for watching. Ta-ra.